Which we didn't get in. Did you get like this one? You're down.
Did you see what's not?
Well, it's just kind of sit down. Just in case they didn't get out of the spell.
I think things would too.
I'm glad you're here.
We did.
I thought we did.
Kind of surprised.
We're totally good.
No,
The Williams County Board of Commissioners meeting. It's November 1st at 1:30 p.m. Roll call, please.
Jim Marlowe,
Present.
Brent Gentry, Tim Atkinson.
Okay, this meeting is for tweaking for tentative budget, and we don't really have anyone lined up first or anything. Do we have anything that
Just to go by the A through. Sorry, out there.
Who's got the biggest problem?
first one to raise their hand?
I know it's gonna be you, man. No, I mean, other than budget. I know you got problems, but other than budget.
Well, here's some of the budget.
Go ahead, you go ahead.
Okay.
Roy sent you an email, sent out to all of you
Right.
about some issues we had with it and just something that needs to be explained. And no one's gotten back with it yet. And
that's
a couple of
salary
issues that came up.
issue.
Yeah,
One of them is line 50403, deputy salary.
Yes.
Okay,
fine.
I think we put that in contingency, and that's where that money is.
So
Once
how
the
many
position-
deputies did you put in contingency?
I believe we put two,
Two?
I believe. Kim, do you know how many deputies we put in there? Do we put both deputies in there? Contingency,
Yes.
Two deputies.
and when they're hired, let us know. We can make a transfer. If they're hired mid-year, we'll make a mid-year transfer. I've got another question here from you. The secretary's salary, 50406.
Yes.
What are you guys saying on that?
So
You have that?
that wasn't actually, it wasn't actually the 85 cent raise, it was
No.
70.
Yes.
That's the way I understood it.
Yes.
So if it's 70, then it's 70.
70.
Yes. Everyone
So-
would get a 7% raise across the
Yeah.
board, but the total for that line item would be the 132,951.
Okay. Kim, you got that?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. I'm going down by what we have here, so if I skip one.
No, you're good.
Okay, courtroom security staff. Yearly salary was, that was John Fleming, that we took him out, then we put him back in or whatever. There was a calculation on the
Yeah, I
salary.
had accidentally written down the wrong number on the salary budget worksheet,
It
so that's completely my fault, but his actual year salary is 56,906, and on the budget, you guys want 55,830.
Okay, so we'll make that correction. 56,906, we'll take the difference out of your pay. Number, the line 50461, the software agreements. We put that money into, that's the data pilot. We put that money into the capital improvement.
So when we purchase this,
We'll take it out of capital improvement.
just send it to you guys for the correct
We'll take
capital.
it out of capital improvement.
You had, 50450.
Yeah, the maintenance agreements.
Uh-huh.
I know we've got several items that are listed under maintenance agreements.
Okay.
But what we requested and what you guys granted, it's a difference of $2,360, and I cannot figure out what it is that you guys have not granted under the maintenance
Okay,
agreements.
that was the time card plus watch guard, is that correct?
The maintenance agreements is all kinds of things.
You're saying 147, 253.
Yes.
Kim, did we put that in capital improvement?
Yes.
And if so, what number did we put in?
9,360.
Okay, so you put in the 9,360. So
Mhm.
then what didn't you include in under the maintenance agreements?
Mhm.
So everything that I added up, it came to a difference of $2,360 less than what we asked for.
Mhm. Jim, do you want me to tell you what you did?
Okay.
So the time clock plus was moved to capital improvement along with the watch guard. And then you added a $10,000 amount to that line item for the body scanner maintenance. Do you want to do that any differently?
And, okay, so time clock plus and watch guard have been moved to
On the time clock plus, we got the bid for that in July. The same company that bought out our current, the software we currently have, Schedule Anywhere, purchased this company. They have bumped the price up approximately $3,000. We've got a total cost amount here, that they bumped the software up to. We'll probably need copies. So it went from 9,000 and some change to roughly 12,000.
We had, and then we contacted them recently to have a.
Yeah, 12,000 and some change.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll take care of it.
We'll take care of it.
Okay. No problem.
And the vehicle request, that'll be, yes, you'll be getting new squads. It's going to be a combination, probably with ARPA and capital improvement.
We want to buy several of them, but we're gonna have to find them. That's a problem. If we could find 6 or 8 or 10, we could use ARPA.
If, again, it's first come, first served, but we can get on a waiting list up at Morrow Brothers up there in Greenville, Illinois. They have a state bid for the Explorers. There are people flying in from the state of Oregon
I'm sure.
to come get them. So they're one of the only dealerships in the country that get stock on hand every month. But if we put our name in the hat now, we're talking May before we could even get them.
Well, I can tell you, in discussion, all 3 of us are willing to buy quite a few.
Yeah.
Using ARPA combination, we need you to help us find them.
Yeah, the only thing I need is the okay that we can purchase X amount, and what I can do is sign a form, and basically that form indicates to the dealership that we will complete the sale once those come in. So,
Okay,
I just need to go ahead from you guys.
I'll get back with you on that.
We,
Okay.
sure we can't buy any of those here locally in this county.
I did check with Danny Bloodworth to see if he could purchase them from that dealership and then us buy them from Watermark. He indicated to me that since they were on the state bid, that he could not. He does not know when and or if they're going to reopen the ordering process for the vehicles. I think he said they were up for like a week or two, and then they completely shut down being able to order new vehicles through Ford.
Huh.
You just hate sending that money on this county.
I do too, but I really do, so.
I'll reach back out to Danny as well, just to.
Tell me, we're talking about, we're talking about a substantial amount of squad cars here, so.
We have meetings, was it Friday? We have a meeting
Thursday and Friday.
Thursday and Friday. Which ones are up for these? Was it one of those?
We're going in it or.
Yeah, we have a specific one.
It's always on there. so.
Yeah, it's always on. Will you guys be willing to make an announcement on that one of those days?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll give you a number, go with it. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, can you, Scott, you can have, if you have any of that, reply from them. How many might be possible or whatever, and we'll make that decision next week.
Okay.
Okay, we really want to get this done.
Okay. Joy, is there anything else?
Sheriff has anything else? I don't have anything else, Sheriff, do you?
You guys have anything else? Just look up.
On the jail, Sheriff, our numbers, everything, as far as the jail numbers, we're okay, but are you guys allowing the 3 part-timers? Because according to the numbers that I received, they are in there.
I believe so. Kim, do we have that in there? I believe we did. Once again, do we have that in contingency or?
I think that's contingency, I thought.
Let me see.
I don't have the list for you.
Did you have extra? Did you have extra?
No, those were in the budget.
Budget, okay, all right.
No,
Okay.
line item.
Either,
But it'll
That's why I
be
asked.
December 1st.
December 1.
Okay.
All right.
And the reason why you guys went first, you're carrying the guns.
That's right. Armed and dangerous.
You guys are done, you're free to go.
That's it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Then he always said he had 1 bullet for me, so.
That's all I did at home.
Oh.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, have a good one. See you, Joy.
Steve?
You did have one. They did have one. Open is to the budget also. Let's see, yeah. That's what I had there on this.
Thank you, gentlemen. I thought the last time that I came here, had a discussion with you about my proposed budget, we had an agreement. I made a specific request to increase certain salaries in my office, not 70 cents, but a significant amount. I also requested an increase the contract attorneys, approximately $1,000. My total increase was a substantial amount of money. I expressed to the board that I was willing to expend $25,000 out of my account to cover that. If we did that, the county came out almost $10,000 ahead. It more than covered anything that I requested. What the board did instead was they increased the 70-cent raise for each of the employees. Did not increase the wages of my specific employees that I requested. You did increase the stipend $6,500. Presumably, I was supposed to use that to help cover salaries. The total amount of the budget that you approved was $7,207.60 less than what I requested. I don't know why I would give you $25,000 when you guys are giving me less than what I totally requested. Now, I've had a conversation. It's been explained to me that there may be concerns with the union. That was not discussed with me when we were in board. Nobody indicated any kind of problems with what I requested. Quite frankly, I felt like what I did was more than fair. We specifically discussed the fact that I would be willing to release that $25,000 in perpetuity. We would change the assessments so that this couldn't be changed. If the idea from the board was I was going to have the cover for the stipend, anybody after me can come and change that. Stipend doesn't get paid on a regular basis. It's on a 3 times a year, I think it is. And whoever comes after me can change that. So, gentlemen, I want to know what changed.
Well, your assessment on stipends issues, that's the way it is with everybody. I don't know of anyone that's ever come in, had one changed unless it's because of poor performance. We have changed the stipend from one person to another, but we felt at one time that what the stipend was used for, they weren't doing a job, so we did change that. But other than that, your assessment that somebody could come in and change is true. Somebody could come in and change it. I've never seen it happen.
Is there any particular reason why at that time we didn't discuss that it would be a stipend payment as opposed to a salary, which is what I specifically requested? I said that these people have a different salary They're doing the same job. I saw that as being inequitable, and I was attempting to try to make it more equitable. That was the discussion. Does anybody have a different memory?
Honestly, I thought your request was granted. You gave $25,000, which covered all that.
The $25,000 I was willing to give covered more than that.
Yeah, we
Gave you guys-
would be ahead. We would be actually
Yeah, it
ahead.
would be, a few.
I-
you know.
So I don't know, I thought it was done. I thought that's why you
But
requested.
we had discussed how to do that and still keep our 70 cent an hour raise intact.
And that was like increasing the stipend.
And that was by increasing the stipend. We had a long conversation.
Well, I mean, but it's, what he's asking for. Let me ask you this, Steve, if you want to put it into a salary,
At this point, I still kind of want to answer my question. That was never discussed. I specifically didn't discuss salary. Would have appreciated if you guys had a different view. You could have told me and shared me that information before I had to come here now. I mean, is it unreasonable for me to expect, after I left our meeting, for me to think anything else other than the salaries for my employees were going to be increased? Was there?
no.
I don't think it's unreasonable for you to feel that way, not at all.
Didn't the board specifically tell me we had an agreement?
You'd have to look at the
Yeah, I
tape.
don't know, we'd have to- Well, his initial one, we treated that like we did everyone else. We looked at it, we heard what they said, and then we went back and dissected piece by piece, line by line. That's what we've done.
But we talked about, I said about how gracious he's been to us over the years.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That I didn't get into it. I don't know.
I thought, I can't speak for these two, but I thought that we had covered this with doing the summer.
That was never mentioned in that meeting.
Well, it wasn't, and I can see how it wouldn't be, because, once again, we see the request, and then we got sent that request after the fact.
Right, which is why I specifically came here and made it clear that I was wanting to affect salaries. Told you gentlemen that specifically.
Well, and Steve, maybe that happened, it probably did happen. But we still have to, we had a continued thought that we were gonna keep that 70 cents in place. So we're trying to find a way to achieve the salary increase while still keeping the 70 cents.
Well,
So.
basically what I'm hearing the board say is you're changing what we agreed on. We're not increasing the salary. You're the board, you get to make that decision. That's fine, and I'll abide by it. That's what you guys get to do. Since you changed your agreement, I'm changing mine too. You're not getting the $25,000. You can decide whether or not you're going to change any other part of the budget or not. I don't understand why I have conversations with you. I don't. If I can use my own fund to do what you suggest I can do, increase the salaries that way, and that's what I'll do. I won't need board approval for it at all. I'm disappointed that I have to be here. I thought we had an agreement. If we didn't, or there was a change, I would have at least expressed some email, some communication to me, rather than me have to go through and do the math to see whether or not I got what I requested. If I didn't do the math, I would never have known, not until after the budget was done. I should not have to do that. Nobody that has a public office should have to do that. They should either know whether or not they're getting what they're requesting. Last time I was here, you told me and told everybody else, I'm a man of my word. I try to be that.
Steve, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll review this again, and I'll get back with you either today or tomorrow before this budget is approved. This is what we're here for. This is what this meeting's all about. So, you have other people waiting.
I understand.
We'll make that promise to you. I'll review it. If I need to get that tape out, I'll listen to that tape. I'll see what we said again.
Please do.
But at the same time, I do want you to understand, this board has the option to review anything at any time and make the decision, get the nail on the head. You make the final decision. So
I understand that, too.
sometimes there are a lot of things that come into play.
I understand that too. And when those things come to play and affect other people, that should be communicated. And it wasn't. If there was a concern about the 70 cents, that should have been communicated. At no point in time was that ever mentioned. Not until I came to you, and, you know, I know you can't discuss it. I am very, very aware of the Open Meetings Act. That's the first time it was mentioned to me, after you guys have already submitted to me what you were projected to pass. Please review the tape. I don't think I misstated anything.
Okay.
Mr. Razor, is that your recollection of what I said? You were here. Yes,
I
I'm
don't
putting you
think
on the
Mr.
spot.
Razor is part of this meeting. He's a private citizen.
I know. I've had my say. Thank you for your opportunity to let me speak.
Okay. Understood.
Y'all know I'm arithmetically challenged.
You say that every time.
I do, because it's had to be corrected for me on numerous occasions, and I'm good with that as well. The big thing that I was here to see if there was an answer, and if there was, where it was at, was our request for equipment, basically computer equipment, so that I can see what we can do, we need to move, and get up to speed as quickly as possible, and they are lagging significantly. Didn't know if you guys had made a decision on that, and that's was the first question. It did come in separate, if you recall, what we talked about.
That equipment was, once again, okay, you're going to refresh my.
Computer equipment, from, to replace the computers, monitors, get scanners,
Terry, that was
and a couple of cameras.
about $28,000, wasn't it?
It was, including the installation and IT services.
Did we not put that in
Capital improvement.
capital improvement?
Kim, do you know what we did? Okay. That's
Yes,
okay.
Good. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right, and the second one is, I came in on salaries as well, and I was looking at the tentative budget and asking to explain a little bit as well. I saw that my stipend for administrative assistants increased. Got that right? But when I looked at the administrative assistant salaries, I was off from what I was requesting by about $1,200, $1,270.
Was that 70 cents? On that, do you know, recall, Kim, that was 70 cent when we figured that out?
yes.
70 cents
70
On
cents
the
per
increase.
hour,
on the increase.
okay, for each of my administrative assistants, the 5. Right? And I did have the one request for my middle child, you know what I mean, when we were talking about that, so my stipend has gone up, and that's my discretion to use, how we're going to use that, is that fair statement? Those are my 2 burning questions that I couldn't figure out on my own. I'm good.
Thanks. How do I get a
Are
stipend?
you done? Are you done, Terry?
Still writing my notes and
Okay,
doing my
all
math,
right.
but yes, other than that, I'm
Marcy.
good.
How do I get a stipend?
How do you get the stipend? You mean for your employees?
Hey, anyone.
You-
I don't like I have a stipend and everybody else is talking about stipends.
Our offices have stipends, don't they?
I'm not sure. I don't think they do. You'd have to request it. That'd be the request.
Okay,
And-
we'll
and
talk
the
about that
amount.
later, this is not this budget. First, I want to thank you for the extra $1,000 in my transcript fees. thank you for that. And my capital improvements, I think we're a go on that, so I want to thank you for that as well. Here's my issue, got several of them. We asked for our 8 full-time attorney salaries and then money for Rhett's contract, and we received 8 full-time salaries, but we lost a large portion of Lisa Urban's salary. So we lost $58,000 in her salary. We asked for 2 part-time student workers, and so we asked for $37,440 for our budget. We did not get that. We requested 2 new staff members, since we're going to be doing a whole bunch of report and pretrial services stuff, $50,000. When I was here, we talked about, instead of having our in-house person do grants, you recommended an external person, and that my estimation was $16,000. So I'm showing my budget negative $161,451. So I just kind of wanted to know how we went about making that not negative.
The Lisa Urban salary, I believe we did not reestablish that. I'm not quite sure if I follow you on the grant thing.
Is that the 3 grants?
Yes, the 3 grants, yes. It was recommended, we had, you guys used to have somebody here.
Right.
And
Now we use, well, you still have somebody.
Christy right now?
Christy,
yeah, and she's maxed,
Okay.
and they are very challenging. You
we
recommended
also,
Egyptian something.
Gregory.
See, I remember that. But that's also another $16,000, I think was the number that somebody said. That's not in the budget.
I don't think they would charge for that, I would believe. We pay a fee for them.
I was gonna say, we paid a fee for the.
So we don't have to pay a fee for that?
No,
We pay.
Okay, well then I will negative 16,000 out of my 161.
so moving forward.
I'd like 2 part-time student workers and I'd like 2 new staff.
2 student workers.
And I'm gonna say something that's probably.
You say two staff people too?
Yes,
What are the, explain is what student workers will do and why you need 2 staff.
well, the part-time student workers would help actually with the legal stuff. Because right now we are maxed.
Is that what you call it, 7-Eleven?
Yes,
That
Yes.
would be law clerk 1 and 2.
yes,
Okay.
yes. And then the staff people with, number one, we're gonna try to get on gyms, whatever, the mirroring system, but that's a whole other thing that's not for our budget. But we're gonna need people to get things organized into that system. Because right now we're getting reports from several of all of the police agencies, and now we're getting pretrial services reports as well. And all of that has to be put together before we can go to court, and it's gonna be at 1 something, right? 1:30 every day, or every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we are running around like chickens with our heads cut off. So that is why I put those 2 in there.
The staff.
Yeah,
So did you lose any staff? You still got the same amount that?
I think we lost staff before or at the beginning of COVID. I think we lost an attorney or 2 during COVID too. Because right now our attorneys are pulling files, our attorneys are doing,
We lost 1 attorney, no staff.
well, we lost no staff.
No,
Okay.
there was, I'm trying to think of a proper, nice way to say this.
It is recorded.
Some funny math that was done
Oh,
on a number of employees there.
okay, well, obviously that's before me, so I.
Oh, yeah.
I can't take
it.
We're gonna leave and then didn't leave and then,
Right.
went over budget, somebody left, so the whole budget was still under budget. And then whenever we submitted the new budget, additional staff person.
Quite honestly, on the staff situation, they kept loading up the staff, and it didn't warrant to have that many staff because
Well, I'm gonna
at
tell
one
you,
time we had more staff than we had attorneys.
if if I'm going to be here, which, remains to be seen, if I'm gonna be here, I'm shifting stuff around
Yeah, I understand.
to make it more efficient.
Absolutely.
And right now, I've got people buckling under the workload. And so if I can move stuff, or I can't move stuff until I have a body that can take stuff. If that makes sense. So I'd like 2 students, and I'd like 2 staff.
Okay.
2 staff. What's the number on that?
Well, there are 25, which brings me to another point, which is probably not, the staff people don't make enough money. I know it's a union thing, and it's probably not nice to say here, but $15 an hour is what we're supposed to be at, and that's $27,000, that's $3,000 more than my staff. So that's an aside, but yes, I'd like.
All that's being looked at.
Thank you, I
I'll
appreciate
just say
that.
that.
I appreciate that. We need to keep the good people that we have.
So what number did you have for the staff again?
25,571
Yes,
times 2.
thanks.
Well, plus benefits.
And then
Tack on my
They're,
20%.
they're full-time, right?
Yes,
your law clerks 1 and 2, are you using those to have a pool to hire from after they graduate? Is that what that purpose of that is?
yes. Well, it's our goal to be able to train them up. It's synergistic, because number one, we can train them that we want them to practice. And we also get a pool that's ready to come in, and it's also, good PR with the law school as well. Because they like to put interns in the offices, especially locally. Any other questions for me? Sorry, I know that's,
How many staff have you got? Let me have to dig through my book.
you're talking the non-granted staff?
Yeah, just people to help attorneys.
8, looks like 8 full-time, well, 7 since Lisa's.
I got 7, and he wanted to bump it to 8 or 9, and then you got how many attorneys?
7,
Well,
well,
we're down 2 right now.
we're down, right,
We want 8 full-time
So
attorneys.
the way the usually works is you have 1 secretary of staff per attorney, calls it client privilege. So is that what you got now?
No,
Okay, what do you have now?
seven. And I'm not counting the 4 that are granted positions. So we have 7.
So you have 7,
And 2
you
of-
have 7 attorneys and 7 staff right now.
We have 6 attorneys and 7 staff right now. We need 8 attorneys.
Then you would need 1 more staff.
According to your math, yes.
Well,
Not
I mean,
according
I'm
to
listening to
mine.
Terry too, it's 1 person per attorney, because of cases and
That's
stuff.
the way we operate.
Yeah, well, that's why that's why you're all
Guys, I
county
was just
students
gonna
out there.
listen and then sneak out of the room, I don't really
That's-
wanna step on.
No, I'm just trying
That's
to
what
say.
I did to you, that's why I was. That's why I didn't saw you in
That would be why we're complete opposite sides of the room.
Oh, yeah.
No, our structure is a little bit different.
Mhm.
They have 1 client, the people in the state of Illinois, we have thousands by name, so we keep it very tight as to who touches what files. So that's why we're at, including me, 5 attorneys, 5 assistants.
That's why St. Clair does it.
Marcy, I got a question for you.
I hope it's an easy one.
I hope it is too. Okay. The investigator, private investigator, is he on payroll?
He is a contract position. We talked about this,
Yeah.
we need to write a contract for him. He is not getting any benefits, I talked to Red about this the other day too, we just need to write up a contract for him. So, and then he will just turn in his hours every 2 weeks.
And the way that was paid in the past was, we did 12.5 and you did forfeiture, drug forfeiture money was 12.5.
He's on payroll.
He's on
He's on
payroll.
payroll.
right?
How did he get on payroll all of a sudden? He wasn't
That's
before.
my question,
No.
He's been on
because
payroll ever since I've been here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Probably
the
from the
In
first day
terms
he
of-
started.
first day he was hired.
In terms of how taxes were coming out, he's not getting any benefits. So
But-
the way that I was told we could remedy this was to just write up a contract and have him turn in his hours every 2 weeks or the first and the 15th.
No, that'd be fine. And then you do 12/5, what do you
Pay out
call
of Amanda's office and mine.
Okay.
Was that he'll be.
So we won't be paying-
so he'll be a 1099 employee.
If he's
Yeah.
regular.
Otherwise, if you
we're
pay out
matching
my
FICA
office,
and
you're
Medicare.
you're a W-2.
Right, right. We don't want that.
That's how that works.
Okay.
But the deal still is 12/5 and drug court.
12/5 and 12/5, yes.
Okay, now according to our policy too, he's supposed to have his own insurance, and everything,
Uh,
because we have to have a copy of that on file
Okay,
for all contract employees,
okay.
or, third-party vendors, basically, be a third-party vendor.
I will get a copy. Like his health insurance, life insurance, driving insurance?
I think that'd be liability. A copy of his,
Mr. Chairman, Tom Couch.
But hold on a second, on that, usually that's for people that's coming in doing work, contracts, what they got. If you have an outside attorney, it's 1099, or you have an outside attorney, 1099, they have the liability insurance.
Is there an attorney? I
It's-
hope they do.
You're.
They have malpractice.
Yeah, your
They're-
people would have
Not on
malpractice
you.
or
Yeah.
some kind of
The-
liability.
If
Yeah,
they decide to
because that's
flex,
their
you know,
firm.
now
Their
that's
firm
their
is-
choice, it does not obligate the county.
Well, that's their firm under, their firm, but when they're working with the county, they're working with the county. So that would, their insurance couldn't carry over to the county work.
Sure could.
Why? That would it?
Well, they would be insuring no work.
Huh?
They would be insuring no work.
As their firm.
Oh.
No, it's outside contractor for the county.
No, I mean, and this is the way I did it when I worked as a
Yeah,
contract public
right, you
defender.
did, yeah.
That work was performed as Teresa H.D., an attorney at law.
Good.
I was appointed by the court and then received the monthly amount. Insurance was on me,
Right, it was paid
liability
to
was
your
on
company.
me.
You were just another vendor to the county. That's
The judge
why they're
appointed
insurance.
And doing work, doing work for the county.
Right, it'd be like hiring an electrician or anybody else.
I'm gonna say Brian
That's-
does not.
I'll ask him, I mean,
Yeah, it's a requirement with our own insurance
okay,
policy, I believe. I've talked to Tom Couch about this a couple of times.
Okay, so 12/5, 12/5, 1099 off of payroll. Okay, what else you got, Marcy?
nothing.
Come on.
Well, I mean, if you want me to keep going, but no, I appreciate the time.
Okay,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Marcy.
Okay, thank you.
Who was be
Thanks,
next?
Marcy.
I'm making
Actually, you're gonna make a quick.
Oh, no, you guys are on opposite sides, you can't go at the same time.
Look, we're using different
Okay.
doors.
We're friends, don't even say that.
Lori?
I'm good.
You're good?
Well, let's give you a start. Lori is good.
Alex?
I've got the questions that I sent you,
Yes.
under my employee salaries. I'm assuming you budgeted the 70% or 70-cent raise and moved Angie Jeter's salary to GIS, out of GIS funds, and the new employees moved to contingency. With that assumption being correct, the figure that I came up with was not correct. I came up with $362,580.
362,000. 580?
And that's using my numbers off my spreadsheets.
Okay.
With the hourly on everything. far as the new employees do, starting at 14.
Okay, we'll check on these numbers here.
Also, I'd be interested to know what the assistant starting would be, assuming that was contingency as well.
What did they go out? It won't be the same. What did they go out? 50, 55, 52?
40.
Back years ago, okay, was it?
I went out, I think at 49.50. Is what I budgeted. 40,150.
What do you think it would take to get somebody to do that? Good.
Yeah,
Let's hear that.
that's the question.
That is a very good question.
Do you have anybody looking at this? And did you talk to anybody? You
Nobody
posted it,
qualified.
You posted, haven't you?
It's been posted. I didn't have any qualified people even submit an application. With the stipend and everything, it came out to be about $45,000.
So okay, 40 to start? I'm just asking.
Well, the 49.50 does not include, I think there's $4,000 assistant stipend, and that also gets $1,500 CIO certification stipend. So
What do we put that at? Cam, do you know, starting for assistant? Do you
Yeah,
have
in
that?
contingency, it was the 40,950.
No,
And since I'm asking for another $2,000, just want to point out that on my salary, the figure put in would represent a 3% increase. And we dropped the line and you did limited to 2% increase. So
Yeah, 2% on there, yeah. 2%. Correct. Yep. That's good, bud.
that's all I got. Just a couple things to clarify.
You're easy.
Actually, yes, son.
Get Travis for.
He's just killing.
I've got.
Brian said, hey.
Mine's fairly easy. Under my line item, 52,418,
52,418, okay.
under telephone, you have budgeted $1,700.
Okay.
I have a current obligated contract for $175.48 a month times 12 months is a total of $2,160. So I'm
Okay,
requesting,
2160?
yeah,
Telephone,
requesting an increase
2160.
to cover the contract costs.
Yep.
2160.
Lastly, under budget item number 52,410, equipment and maintenance, I had included the repair, an estimated repair cost for the overhead door out at the refuge. The overhead door is broken at the refuge, and it takes 3 men and a small pony to open it, and the only thing to hold it open is a pole. So it's a disaster waiting to happen if there's somebody to get hurt trying to open that door.
And they talked, let me try to refresh memory on that. We talked about that. One thing, I thought we talked to you about it, but that is not our property.
Correct.
So they're gonna have to give us permission to do anything with their property. Or we're getting big.
Yes, we have permission to repair it, but the obligation is ours to repair it. They will not repair
Can you
it.
get that in writing for us, please?
I can get that, yes.
Know what we need? I mean, we still
I
got
would
to get on the
I would
property.
say
Yes,
that
that was the problem.
Okay, so does this fall under an insurance claim then? If
No,
it's broken?
No, because it's not our, no.
Or if it's-
They're letting us keep it out there. I mean, that's,
I mean, it's a maintenance issue. I mean, it's the spring, it's a spring assist door.
It can't be that much to fix it.
How much was it?
I estimated $1,000.
why don't you talk to a couple people, see what they tell you.
Get some bids on it.
Yeah.
Okay. And lastly, I had $1,080 in the budget for bunker maintenance to get the weeds and stuff knocked down in front of those bunkers. And then a estimated annual cost for two roomings to keep it so we can have access to those. Right now, they've not been touched in years, and they're, 3 of the 5 are inaccessible.
Okay, talking English now.
It's getting access to those.
Correct.
To the bunker.
To the bunkers. They have literally grown up to the point there are trees, 2 to 3 inch trees
I got, okay.
that have grown
We
up in
talked
front
about
of
this,
them.
but once again, I mean, it goes back to, we don't own the property. So,
But we can't get, we can't get the highway department in there messing with it, so we're gonna have to do something to get it. What all do you have in there?
So one of them, to be honest with you, I've not laid eyes on it because I can't get in it. So one's supposed to have a field hospital in it, which I'm going to be real honest with you, I'm going to assume is of
It's
no
old.
value.
it's
Okay.
old, it's all old.
One of them has
In there.
radio equipment in it and some portable toilets and some tires and, I mean, I'm honestly feeling like we should get in there and vacate them, honestly.
Why can't you get in there?
Because they're grown up to the point where you
Oh,
can't.
you can't physically get
You can't
into that. I got
physically
you.
get to the
Oh,
structure.
they have a key again, okay.
No, I have the keys, I just can't physically get to the structure because they're so overgrown. But
I think
I'm,
this would be something that you could just knock it down once a year.
yes,
Get somebody in there with a bush hog or something like that.
somebody's gonna have to go in with chainsaws and by hand to get it out, because it's up against the bunker and
I've
the push
seen
hog
it.
won't do
I've
it.
seen that, been out there, been inside those bunkers. Everything in there is antiquated.
Oh,
TVs are old tube
we had
type
Jeeps, we had
boxes,
Jeeps in there,
boxes
so I took
of
the Jeeps and.
replacement tubes
You
for
plan
the
on keeping
TVs.
these after you vacate the stuff out of them, or you plan on keeping them, or you just?
It would be up to the commissioners as to, because they're the ones who pay the rent.
I know where you're going, because once you spend money to get in there, you spend $1,000 whatever, and then you don't want it, and you spend $1,000 and.
Right.
This is where I think you need to do a one-time, get in there, clean it out, get rid of the stuff, sell it, whatever, and then not go back in there. But
I can't see
you need to
spending
get
recurring
access
money
to
on
it.
maintenance.
So find out what it would cost, just get somebody in there.
I have the bid, that dollars was the bid, you had asked me
Yeah,
to get
right.
the bid.
How much?
It was, so the actual cleanup is $150 per bunker for initial access. That's, 150 times 4 would be $600.
Okay.
And then to have them come in and spray and do semi-annual maintenance is $60 per bunker for a total of $480.
Let's do we're doing the $600.
Let's go on.
That's it.
We got to stop right there, see what we got.
Gotcha.
We gotta clear our stuff.
Because to be honest with, I agree with you, I think that the majority of that stuff is
It's old.
and it needs to go
It
away.
may have value to some people, they might want to buy it.
And that's why we're planning a huge garage sale for what's in the refuge Area 7 warehouse as well. And what I would, if we end up having to maintain the PPE and stuff that is in the Brent building, if the Public Building Commission ever wanted that building vacated, it could be moved out to the bunkers.
I don't think we're gonna do that.
Okay.
But that's a good thought, but I don't think we're gonna see those doing that.
I mean, eventually, if
Still,
this building that we've discussed ever gets built, then we
Yeah,
would
that's-
vacate it all.
That's the direction I'd
Yes.
rather go. So.
But I can't even get into the bunkers now to even do it in the set zone. So the $600
We
would
get
get
helicopter
me.
fly over and drop it down.
And what you need to do is go in there and take pictures and
See what you got.
actually take an inventory of what you have there.
Okay.
And I know it's just a lot of 1960s civil defense stuff. And,
It's actually pretty cool stuff, but the $600 is worth that.
including the Airstream.
Yes, and as soon as we get a definitive on how to surplus that property, I'm gonna list
Okay.
that for sealed bid.
Okay. So you've got your plan of action then.
I do,
Good.
I am, so 600, and then the contingency, or I mean, the
We'll go-
contract.
Bump the telephone up.
Our
Okay.
plan is, just to knock that stuff down. I don't know if you can go in there, I'm not an expert. It's a weed killer, I'll go a long way.
Can't use weed killer.
Okay.
Although the refuge, we asked that question. I was just gonna round up it all, and she said you can't use it.
Nope.
It has to be removed and it has to be placed off to the side for habitat and so forth and so on.
But the point is, you don't go out there maybe once a year if that.
Agreed.
So, yeah, so just get that door fixed, get it knocked out where you can get access. And
So
I would say, if you know you're gonna get access out there at some time, call ahead and get somebody to mow it out there before you go. You know, just do it as on the fly or whatever.
Okay, so I'm positive what we're doing here. So the $600 is for the bunker, to get in the bunker.
Get out, yeah,
The door is a separate issue.
correct.
You're gonna get 2 bids on that,
I will,
and you're gonna kick your telephone agreement up from 1,700 to 2,160.
correct.
Those are 3 items. Right? Okay, got you. All right, bud.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, actually, your last.
I mean, these are just probably more housekeeping items. So the only thing I saw you guys, you've got my the circuit court fees that I requested increase. So I'm glad to have gotten you the $10,000 in seed money. That's okay. Here's some suggestions. One, if you could provide the offices with the capital improvement, like portion of the budget, so they can see what's put in there, that would probably alleviate a lot of questions, with that. Two, you just put together the tentative budget and you set it out, but I mean, if you could possibly like break it out into actual departments and send it to them specifically, it might be easier. I'm sure some of them probably didn't look at it till today to figure out what was the difference.
If they had that, they may not be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I noticed there was no court assessment money in here for as a receipt. It went to zero, so I'm not sure if you're counting on that money or what, but I mean,
I think that's one thing that we're gonna address.
it's not in here. So if you do come to some kind of agreement with Judge Green, you'll need to put that in there, because we went 100,000, and then it's at zero. That's line item 44220. These are other things, I guess, for future to look at. I think I sent you the 3 that I said about trying to make sure that you had all the elected officials would be the same, but I would say at some point in time, I don't know if there would be an adjustment that would need to be made for the elected officials to be paid the same again. Because right now, because of the staggering, and
You're talking about this office here?
well, I'm saying, well, my office or clerk,
Clerk,
the county clerk is paid higher now than the other one.
You're right, yeah.
It would have been the sheriff also, but since they, jacked the sheriff's salary up to, a stratosphere that nobody else is gonna see, then, that's a moot
Ain't gonna
point.
happen.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, I just, that would be something, same way with you guys, I know you were staggering and everything else, but at some point in time, you'll need to figure out a way to probably,
The
equalize
problem
that.
is whenever we approve something, you're locked in
Yeah,
for that 4 years.
well, but the question would be is if you could ask, right, could you put some kind of
You have to do it, and I think.
escalator clause or something like that to say at some point in time, to be able to get that extra, like one, or do a 4% 1 year and then 3% the other years thereafter.
Well, how does Amanda's office, I'm just curious, got off track?
Because it was staggered. I had a special election, so then I got lumped in with the prior group, but Amanda didn't have an election until now for office. So she was already locked in at the 3.
Yeah,
and then
but
everybody else was at 2.
then when you come back around, you'll be brought back up at.
No, he'll never catch it.
I'll never catch up.
Okay, well, it's like us, we'll never catch up.
Well, but I'm saying that I think there should be something in there that
I get
figure out a way
just a suggestion.
to equalize it
Yeah, okay.
at some point in
All right.
time, because, I understand the part, I know other counties are paid at different, but it's not like it's a percent difference, there's a, they say duties are more of this, and that's why they get paid, X, but if, this county is more of it's equalized. There should be a way, I'm sure Rec can probably tell you, there's gotta be some way to either add
a percentage to 1 year and then do
We'll
it
look at
together, just as a suggestion. The only other thing I was gonna ask you guys, if you could, can I get something from you guys to specify out what departments are paying out of their special funds, what they're required to pay, whether it's gross only, gross and benefits, gross and all benefits, you know, or whatever that amounts to, so that we can keep a solid track of everything going on, because now everybody's in something different. You know, people are asking for different things than what they were required to do. So something, either that it's signed by the office and the commissioner so that it's laid out. So like, for example, my man and I were paying, or if everybody's paying, you know, gross only. And then now all the other wages are coming out of the trust and the levied items, that's fine. Or if there's something different, but just so we can know, because we were all over the place. I've still got one that I can't figure out if two of the people are full-time or not, to be able to bill them, you know, the costs, and are they even supposed to get insurance? So I'm still trying to get clarification.
Agreed.
But, no, I think so. I mean, I didn't have any other line item change.
All right. That's good.
That's all of them, take them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we're calling. Recess 10 minutes.
You guys need to vote on those or?
Just pause it. Pause it, we're gonna take a break.
10 minutes, that's great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Even do that with short hair. Go girl.
That,
Okay, all right, well. I think, we've, talked about, give everybody an opportunity. Obviously, with Steve, I'd like to listen to the tape one more time. So as soon as Stephanie can get that for me, I'll listen to it. I think we still have today, tomorrow, to make a change. I know it'd probably be a last minute thing, whatever we want to do, Kim.
Sure.
I'd like to talk about the email that Kim sent.
On the Steve, I want to tell you what I remember. I remember we agreed to it.
Steve was pretty adamant that we agreed to this.
We did. We agreed. We talked about 70 cents, but we agreed to it because he's paying for it and we're coming out ahead $10,000.
And we're coming out, right, it's not crossing our budget or anything, we're coming out ahead 10,000.
This is not to interject here, but are any of those positions union? I know you made a comment.
No,
about
they're
that,
not. They're not.
No, but they.
I understand the perception, but.
But
It's how other unions will view
No, I
that
understand.
increase
I understand.
in other
They
departments.
don't usually get that judicial system and follow that.
Well, I would say, I don't remember any of those individuals having anything taken out of there.
I know,
I don't think
I know Circuit Clerk and some of the other ones have increased. So it's been done. And Steve, I'm telling you, you've been awful gracious to us. I remember, that he goes, well, we're good and everything. We go, we're good. Then I think the talk started. He did leave thinking it was a done deal.
Well, and that's it, and I've known Steve for a lot of years, and if he's looking at me and telling me that I agreed to something, that I'm gonna take his word for it. As far as I'm concerned, it's, he's gonna give us a 25, let's give those people that. What he was asking
You're
for.
10,000 ahead. He's painful.
That's just one. Steve's been good. He's given us that money out of his fund, but he didn't have to.
I'm like you, I've known a very long time. I've never, not a dishonest guy, and what he said was correct today. And I can see why he's a little upset, because he thought he had a deal, or if it changed, why it would respond back to him and tell him to change. Valid point. So that's just out of courtesy. I'm for just letting it go away. Well, that's what we're talking about. I'm just one person. So.
When it comes on that budget, I say we give him this on that part of his budget.
You, Brent? Okay, good to say.
I really do. Because I know what said.
Kim, we need to make that adjustment.
Okay.
So you're gonna add your 25 from into 44220.
So what's that?
Put that in contingency.
I look here. Well,
I mean, there's nothing in there. I'm just.
No, I got it.
It's a blank line. Prior years, he gave 100,000, each year, and then now it's a blank.
yeah, he said he
If
was
you
2
agreed
years.
to 25, then you would probably need to put the 25
And basically
in
what,
there and then move 20, and then add 25 to contingency unless you're got more wish list to move that money.
and basically what he said was, he would do it regardless, he take $25,000 back and do it. So,
I can tell you this, for ease of payroll, it's a whole lot better if you give it to him and let him pay it in there, and I have one line item.
no, I get it.
Instead of having to have a court assessment line to put the payroll line item for him to pay the dollar, whatever. extra it is.
Why don't you work it out with them how you all want it?
But it's gonna be paid.
The simplest thing is to do, is for you to do the increases on the payroll line items.
Okay.
And then do the receipts of the 25 grand so that he puts that in there and then it's good to go. So if 20, I don't know what this is, if that, this $2,000 is all it is, or if there's another amount that you have listed in here, but that just needs to be put into those payroll line items, take out the stipend, put it in the payroll that you had requested. And then just do it straight off of that and not add this court assessment one to the payroll.
Okay, so let's run down the list here real quick then. Okay, so we talked about the sheriff's department. We got that taken care of. We got, Steve Green then taken care of.
Yes.
Terry,
Can we pull the original budget that the judge filed and you tell me what you want in those lines, please?
you want Stephanie to email this to you? You got it?
Yeah, I'm just, because we're changing numbers around. Are you wanting just to put in his original budget request? Is that what you want me to do?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, give me just a second and I'll.
Forgot to ask him about the
Judicial secure or the juvenile.
juvenile, yeah. Juvenile detention.
Oh, yeah, that
I don't know.
could, that could be who knows what.
Yeah.
That is gonna be his discretion.
Fortunately, it's not, a lot of the kids are sitting there.
About eight last year.
Yeah, so I
The
mean,
request actually went down like 10 grand.
There's no total at the end, so I'm going to double check the math here. Okay, so total budget request was 421,394 as submitted. And that's what I show when I key in those original numbers, 421,394. Is that what you'd like to see?
Yes.
Very good. Now, on the other departments that came in, I know there was discussion. I don't know if you want all those changes implemented. So if you could highlight those for me and tell me what you'd like to change.
Okay, that's what I was getting to.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. No, on Marcy, that was an exit. For the 2 law clerks and 2 staff. So that would.
we didn't put any of that in. Did we put any of that in contingency?
About that.
Do we not put any of that in there, Kim?
In contingency?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me tell you what you've got in contingency. You've got, I've got a couple notes here. There are 2 legal secretary positions if grants come through. And then there are 2 law clerks.
That would be the 18,000.
720 apiece.
Okay, those are in there.
Yes, as well as legal secretaries at 25,571 if the grant comes through.
Then why was it said she said she didn't have them?
She
doesn't have
Two additionals?
2 in addition
No
to
way.
what she's got.
No way. Guys, we've been down this road before.
Well, they're in contingency, they're just not in her
But
budget.
these,
That's
okay,
She's talking about 2 extra.
or is she?
No,
Or
she-
is she?
No, again, that goes back to
Contingency. If she had the list, you
the
would know.
correspondence. If you provide that to them to say, these are in contingency,
She would know. She would
then you would
have.
know that you were potentially going to grant them if all the requirements are met.
As long as it's not 2 plus 2, no way.
I think it's the 2 people plus the 2 clerks, but she's asking,
So
but
then-
they're not in her budget.
They're
So
making-
So you,
Kim, is that the way it looks like on that contingency?
Yeah, you want me to email this to you so you see how it looks?
What's that?
Yeah,
You want me to email it to you so you can see how it looks?
I don't have that either.
I'm just saying, I think that on anybody that has, other than me, who knows what's going on, anybody else that you have that's a department that you put in contingency, it wouldn't hurt for you to send that to them.
I get it,
Yeah.
because actually, we've only started doing this for a couple of years.
Yeah, it's brand new.
And
It's brand new. It's foreign to
Yeah.
everybody. I mean,
Until we started doing that last year, I think it's probably one of the
It
first
was.
years that we started doing
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
So I get it. She's new and, it's confusing.
Yeah.
It is. And even Benny, I remember last year.
Yep.
Had trouble understanding.
Yeah.
Didn't quite understand it. He goes, okay, but I don't understand.
because everybody works off of their budget. So all they see is, this is all you gave me,
That's it.
where everybody think to go. Then you tell them and say, look, if you get this person, and you run it by us, then we will.
Okay. Now,
We'll do that.
1099 for Brian Thomas. Okay, we're gonna get that straightened out. Is that, I mean,
So
What I heard-
so this is how my understanding this is gonna work. We're paying him through 11/30 because he's already on the books, everything's done. Starting December 1, he is no longer on payroll.
right.
Then it's going to switch over to a 1099, which will be a claim submitted from the state attorney's office to Amanda's office.
Right.
With out of that line item. And then once they exhaust that 12.5 line item off of their budget, then they would then in turn fill out a claim that would come out of their drug forfeiture. And when that money runs out or whatever else, his time runs out
Right.
until the next, go around. But he will not be on the payroll side and no longer be a W-2 item, person,
absolutely.
not paid out of us, and we'll get a check cut, as things. So he's not gonna get paid every 2 weeks unless they agree to turn in a claim for him every 2 weeks, like what he's getting paid now. So-
Honestly, I was caught off guard. I did not think he was on the payroll. I always thought he was 10 in my mind, because
I think
it's
that was-
12.5, 12.5.
Yeah.
So then that 12.5 goes into
The
contingency?
presentation,
Right.
but the finality part
No,
didn't happen.
stays in the budget then.
The
It's in the
12.5
budget right now.
Okay.
We're splitting with drug forfeiture, yeah.
Okay. All right then. So we're good with Marcy then. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as long as she's not asking for 2 more additional people, which I don't think that's what she's asking for.
You just need to give her the copy of the contingency and the capital improvements so she knows that her stuff. That's another thing. It's hard to understand, hey, when we see things now that have a lifespan of longer than 12 months, it's coming out of capital improvements. It's not coming out of.
Moving on. Alex?
Yes.
We're good with Alex then, correct? Good.
I need to know on Alex, do you just want me to plug in the total he gave you? Because I was just working off the original numbers he submitted. So,
Did you adjust his salary? That was one that I had notated 3%.
He came off and they said he's supposed to go 2. Yeah.
And that was the other thing, is making sure whatever that number you pick, if it's gonna be 91.
And why is Alex's number different than what he originally?
What number's that?
He submitted a 3% raise.
No. I'm talking about the employee salary.
I'm sorry, what now?
On number 1 on his email.
I have to look up the email.
Okay.
What is it?
If he goes, am I correct in assuming that Angie's be paid out of the assessor's mapping again? This mapping stipends and new employees have been moved to contingency. If that assumption is correct, the new number that I come up with is 362,580, not 360,123. Line item 51602. One.
West is, okay, we're going to negotiate that, so that's what it's going to be.
Right.
Okay, we'll stop there. Here's an Angie Jeter's salary on her have been removed. Stop on that line. has Angie Jeter's salary and all new hires been removed? And if so, why?
Well, I just sent you the contingency. You did move several people there. So why don't you pull that up, take a look at that and see if you still like it that way? Okay.
Okay. So on the assessors, it says, it appears that Angie Jeter's salary and all new hires have been removed. Have they or have they not? I guess the question here. Am I correct in assuming that Angie is to be paid out of the assessor's mapping stipends and new employees have been moved to contingency question mark? I want to say the contingency part is correct.
So those first 4 lines on contingency is what you moved from the assessor's office budget.
Yeah, 12 employees.
Okay. So that has Angie Jeter in there.
Could have HG.
Yeah. Okay, so we're only,
Right.
so he says his total, we comes up with is 362,580, not 361,23.
So my question is, do you just want to use that number? I can't necessarily tie to that number, but
Well, I would say, let's double check their employees, double check add the 70 cent, add whatever number of employees they have, and whatever that number is, that's the number.
okay.
I don't know if he miscalculated or if we miscalculated. That's what I'd say, numbers again in that department, for employees, and whatever that number is, that's the number we go with.
Okay, can you grab their employee sheet? Yeah, 50. Okay, GIS.
What's better than him? Okay.
Like me. All right, so we have new assistant. Brenda Dale. Oh, Jamie, Darwin, Connor, Peters, Haynes, Anthony, Jack, Kincaid. New.
Okay.
Give me just 1 second here. Oh, I know what it, I think I know what it is. I can tell you, and you can, let's see. Let me see if this is the difference. I think I know what it is.
I got 6423 was the number that I got.
That's what I think.
Divided by,
Did I not?
here's the difference, I believe, and you tell me what you want to do with it, but in the line item, you put 55 cents an hour when we originally were talking and put the 15 cents in contingency, that first line.
Okay, yep.
Okay. And so I think that's going to be the difference. I think if I heard him correctly today, he's using 70 cents, right?
Yes.
So that would move his number up higher. So
Yeah. So how do you want to show that?
Last year you gave what the current contract
We're
was.
negotiating
You put the
with
rest-
them
you put the rest of it.
Yeah.
Everything else is contingency.
so
Yeah.
they'll be, so one's using 55, one's using 70. So
Yeah.
it's there, it's there.
It's in contingency. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
So we're happy with that.
If you like it that way, you can present it any way you want.
And so that number is what, that final number?
Our number's correct.
Our number is correct?
36123. Is that right? Yep. That's what I thought.
That's, yeah, when I'm
And the
using
15 cents is in the contingency.
the 55 and the remainder in contingency.
Yep.
Then how do we get to 3276? The 360 plus 3276.
Well, but yeah, that includes some employees, I think, that are also maybe in GIS. Let me do a count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, okay. Yeah. And then there are some new positions that I'm not really sure what happens depending on hire date. Sometimes they get a raise right away.
Yeah, that's all 12. That's all 12. That's 15 cents times
Okay.
12.
But what's the final number? 360?
360, 123. So
So
Yeah. And then once you get the contract settled, you can do an appropriations transfer, you know. That's no problem.
Alex
Okay, we're good on Alex.
and Brian, I think we've taken care of Brian.
I tell you what, I'm not really interested in spending a lot of money out there.
No.
No, we're not gonna use that
He
thing.
wants a bush hog or cut a tree down one time.
That's fine.
Go ahead.
Right.
But
Okay. I'm not huge maintenance on that
No.
out there.
Okay. So for EMA, you want to raise the telephone to 2,160.
Yeah.
Right? And then what do you want to add to equipment maintenance?
It's got $1,000 to fix the door.
You want to do that?
Would that be an equipment maintenance or equipment?
I'm hesitant to say anything.
I know what you're, I
Do
know.
not offer.
No,
I know what you're about to say it a while ago.
Okay, Travis, be a good guy, but not right now.
Hey, Travis, you're about to say it earlier. It wouldn't take you 45 minutes to do it, but I know what you're talking about. Get that mow trimmed off that thing.
600 access the bunker. That would be the, so I guess you want to combine those two, 1,600.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So those are the only changes on E EMA.
And the only reason for the door, because we may have to go over more than once, we may have to go over several times.
Yeah,
So let's make it safe for our people.
it's pretty amazing what's in there, some of the old stuff.
And those are heavy boots.
Yes, they are.
That's why they call them bunker.
Okay.
Yeah, after today, we don't need to. Oh, man.
All right, so then, Ashley, you were just bringing up the court assessment, you're just notifying us, basically.
well, I'm just saying right now, there's no money in that. From that 442.
But when he gives that 25,000.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're gonna budget, I'm saying if you come to an agreement and he does say he wants to give it, then you would need to put it in the budget.
He may not.
Or you cannot, and then it will just, we'll put it in that number anyway. And
Yeah.
you just won't account for it. Maybe 25,000 extra.
Yeah.
Didn't count.
Okay. Can I give you a refresher conversation of where we left off on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we looked at the process for transferring from court assessment an amount, whatever amount everybody designated would be appropriate. Or we also talked about, do you rework your fine and fee ordinance? Because as Judge Green is pointing out, the stipends are discretionary. Well, any transfers from court assessment in the future are also going to be discretionary based upon who has the position.
Absolutely right.
Okay. So we talked about, and I do recall this from the meeting, we talked about amending the fine and fee ordinance if the board chose to make any changes, if that would be an option for everyone to think about, whatever changes everyone determined would be appropriate. Now, we got to the fine and fee ordinance, we were talking about it. And that conversation was put on pause because of looking at what are your options, what can you move, when can you move it, that kind of thing. And what came out of that discussion was, you've got court security that's in some financial distress. So at that point, I think we moved on to some other things, but if you amend the fine and fee ordinance, you won't see a transfer from court assessment. You'll see a higher amount in your fines and fees coming in from the circuit clerk's office. So do you have a preference on how to go about doing that? The fine and fee ordinance belongs to the board.
I would think that we would need to, who would we get? Will we get with Rhett to draft that up, or we just go ahead, just decide on a number? I think this is something that we probably need to look at and revisit probably every 6 months just to see where we're at. But what amount is being assessed right now?
Okay.
I want to get my, give me just 1 second, I'm gonna grab my
Sure.
ordinance. I had it on my desk.
Sure. So to try to help you work on a little bit of math here, in 2019, I don't know if you recall, but we went over several years' history of prior to the fine and fee schedule changing, what everybody's fees look like, and after the change. And in 2018, court assessment received right at $50,000. And then after the fine and fee ordinance change, it was 108 in 2019, 128 in 2019, or I'm sorry, 2020, and 107.5 in 2021. So 108, 128, 107. You know, maybe the 108 range seems more reasonable. Okay. So if I'm looking at 25,000, if you want to move 25,000, that's roughly 24% of what court assessment is getting right now. Okay. Yeah. So if you looked at the current fees associated with that, and I'm just applying logic and reasoning, a reduction of 24% would lower the amount going to court assessment and raise the amount going to, in this case, in this example, what you're talking about is the general fund. That still, I don't know, addresses the financial condition of court security. Now, on court security, another step that you can take, and you can make this determination every 6 months or every year if you want to, but do you want to look at maybe having court assessment stop paying fringe benefits for a period of time until it financially recovers and becomes stable?
You mean court security?
Yeah.
Not court assessment.
Yeah, I was arguing.
Yeah,
Yes.
That was another one I was gonna throw into the mix of.
I think that would be good, and revisit it in 6 months, see where we're at, see if we
Okay.
need any adjustments. I think
Okay.
that's move.
So I think court assessment is $15 per case, right? 24% of that is like $3.60. Of course, you'd want to round up or down, just depending on, make it easy, you know.
Say, make it $5.
4 is actually closer, but it's up to you.
You'll have Steve back in. He'll make it
I
five.
was saying,
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be really
doesn't matter if I've
angry.
seen him in a while.
He'll be really angry.
I haven't seen my cats at the housing authority.
Yeah.
Well, your decision, whatever you guys think.
Okay. Now,
My red face at the housing authority.
well, I mean, I think decisions, you know, should be made on their business merit, not out of emotion, you know. The court security, unless the income or expenses or both are addressed, that trust fund will go negative, and it's very, very difficult to recover once it gets to that point. It's been in a negative spending pattern for quite some time. So it does have a financial date death or a financial death date. If you're going to move $3 to $4, whatever you're thinking from assessment, do you want to put that in court security, which would mean there would be nothing additional going into the general fund, which is where we sort of paused on this conversation. That's why you see a 0 there right now, because I don't think we were really sure what you wanted to do with the court security.
Was court assessment the only one? I thought you guys were looking at other fees.
There were other ones.
To-
We went through all of them.
Yeah, we went along.
I don't think we could.
We can't really adjust those.
There were some we could, some we couldn't.
There were the dock storage fees and that you could adjust those. You couldn't adjust the ones that were going to the state treasurer. And
I
that,
don't
I
think
thought you
so.
had-
Red had checked
We
on
had,
that.
He said some we can, some we can't, but I don't know offhand which one's which.
Okay.
Mhm.
I thought there was a combination of like 2 or 3 that you were going to pull from that was going to make up the, because you were talking about putting a $30,000 or $40,000 cushion in court security.
Yeah.
To try to have 6 months worth of funds available at all times.
But I think when you had a conversation with Rhett, I think he gave you advice that differed from that, right?
So, okay.
Good call.
Okay.
Do you agree with that, Brent?
That's pretty good.
That's not what happened.
Synopsis.
So will we need to go through each schedule to look at this and make an adjustment on each schedule here?
Yes.
All right, then go ahead
Now-
and do, or what?
Well, you can, but the question is, do you want to reroute that to court security? Or do you want to reroute that or part of that to the general fund? You do have a block of 50,000 from the general fund to put into judicial security. Of course,
And that wouldn't affect the death date, would it?
it would help. Yeah.
So-
Any cash infusion is going to help. Yeah.
I personally, I think we just need to reroute that into court security from the court assessment fund.
Okay.
Take the benefits off of the court security fee.
We
for
pick
right
up
now.
court security.
Put that on the benefits fund. And
Okay.
then revisit that, so I'd like, because I think it's the fine balance that we need to work with here.
Mhm.
We haven't really moved on this before, so, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and we don't need that.
What's the cleanest way? That's the easiest way, so we won't go.
What'd you say, Brent?
The easiest way, the cleanest way to go.
Well,
I'm not so sure there is a clean way. I think they're all just equal.
we lower the one and we raise the other. The money's not coming over here, it stays over here. I kind of like that idea.
Okay. And so then the net effect is that the general fund is absorbing all of those requested increases from the court system.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
And that's by moving the money into the court security fee.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Instead of putting that general fund in the
Right, court security fee, yes.
Right.
And of course, then we also absorb the benefit costs, at least for some time.
For
on
a
court
period of
security.
time, yeah.
Right. And you can take a look at that every 6 months and look at the fringe benefit funds while you're doing it too, to make sure you're happy with their health and welfare. Okay. Okay, so we're back to the same conversation of that landed in a 0 there on that court assessment income line. You want to leave that in the general fund at least at a 0.
I would think so. Right now, Kim, let's don't plan on it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. Now, I had a couple of other notable items in emails that I've seen. I just need to get the board's direction here. For the treasurer, circuit clerk, and supervisor of assessments, the question is, with rounding being above 50 cents, can the amounts be raised $1 from 91,533 to 91,534?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna make them all 91,533. That's all I ask. Make one, pick a number, make all three of them exactly the same.
I got you.
That's all I ask. I'll sacrifice $1 to make it even.
Amen.
So you pick.
3-3 or 3-4?
Always round up.
My method is if it's above 50 cents, it rounds up. If it's below, it rounds down.
Bill 5-4.
5-4. Okay. Let me. Okay. So those all end in 5-3-4. Okay, go back there. Okay, so that takes care of one of Ashley's items. Then there was another $1, I think, change on 53,303. Let me get down to that one. Upright line item. 53,503. I'm sorry, 53,503. Which is the tax system software maintenance. It's in the IT area. Okay, so on that one, the county's share should be 6,766, which does reflect a slight price increase for the contract. Okay, so that was more than $1. 6,766, I think, was the new contract amount, and that's a third of the amount when splitting. Okay, Ashley, did I get that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I think you took care of all of the sheriff's department questions.
You get that extra 3,000 on the maintenance item. What was it? Was that the computer thing that he was talking about?
What's it about?
Well, he brought in.
Oh, the increase, well, that'll be a capital improvement.
Yeah, but I don't know.
But you're gonna pay that out of contingency.
Yeah, we'll check it out.
So
We can go ahead and change that number on that detail if you want, Tim.
Okay,
Add 3,000 to the 9360.
now it's a little different. It's 12,420.
12,420. Okay. All right. Okay, we've already talked about the court security fund. You don't know any more on juvenile detention costs.
I'll check.
Okay, you're happy with where the assessor's office information is right now. Do you have any other information that would change health insurance costs, health insurance rate renewals, any adjustments we need to make there?
No.
Okay. On the human resources area, we talked about presentation style on that. Right now, it appears as a sub-department of the commissioner's office. So there's recycling, general assistance, IT, and then human resource, and then all of your other line items. Are you happy with that presentation, or would you like just line items added to your area and not a sub-department?
Can you explain the plus and minus of both ways? Cons?
Yeah. And these are just my observations, but sometimes when you have a department of one and it appears like a department, then the questions come into play as far as, do you have an office holder who has direction, who's tracking time off, days off, that kind of thing. I think in a lot of cases, the office holders don't necessarily have a requirement to be there 7 or 8 hours a day. And so it's going to come down to the ability to direct the employee and what is going to be best, or what's your goal there?
Yeah, it needs to be addressed, not a separate department.
And even if we decide to change it later, like next year, or
It doesn't work,
whatever. I think probably under us.
Okay, so you don't want a sub-department, you'd rather just have line items added under your header? Okay.
Yeah, we made it.
Okay, so like there's commissioner salaries, and then there's chairman and liquor stipend, and then you want it somewhere in that area?
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Okay. Okay, give me just a minute. And then the supplies, you had 1,000 office and 1,000 training. I can add those in your materials area. Is that what you'd like?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Okay, give me just 1 second to add those, move those around.
Yeah, the link to
Okay, there's no financial impact of that. It's just a design change in presentation. Okay. So did you have a chance to look at contingency? Are you pretty happy?
Yeah, I think, I am. I think it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, there was a blank space there for juvenile detention in case anything came of that.
We are, Just want to make sure we are within our limit as far as what we could place in contingency
Yes,
in our.
yes. Let me tell you what your limit would be. $1,076,250 would be your limit.
Okay.
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 All right. Do you have anything different that you need to change on capital improvement?
I have a question.
Okay, I didn't know if you were stretching or what was going on there. Go ahead.
Trying to take flight.
Okay, whatever you need to do.
When we were working on the budget, we were working on the fact that we were told, I guess, the tip will be rolling off in 23, and then our
Right.
came in, it's not. So how, my question is, whatever we did on that, how do we make that adjustment to offset that, what we did?
Sure, sure. And that was the next item on my list. Do you want to go to that and come back to capital improvement?
Oh, it doesn't matter. It's just, I just wanted to.
Yeah, I had that on my list to go over. So on the capital improvement, I don't know if you have the let me send this to you. This has the change on that timekeeping for the sheriff's office. So if you like this, then we'll make a small change. We'll add that to the transfer in the general fund. Okay. But let's have you take a look at the projects you had in mind for that and see if you still agree. Okay.
Countywide telephone system, we put in 250,000.
Mm-hmm. If it comes in less, then you'll.
It was in last week.
It won't be over 100.
So.
We don't know that, but hopefully I should think it would come in. Yeah.
Right. Now, the amount of the transfer in the general fund right now is the $1,031,000. That difference is that increase on that time clock plus system.
Correct.
So we can change that in the general fund to equal that $1,035,000. Sometimes historically, it's very helpful to have numbers tie exactly, because then you can go back and look at what you intended to do. So that increase $3,060, it looks like it went up. So. Now, this list right here is what the general fund is going to put in capital improvement. And then you'll approve things from there on capital improvement. You see a note down below that you still have $250,000 to move from economic development. You were talking about the animal control facility, okay? But the $1,035,000 is what is the general fund putting in capital improvement.
Yes.
Okay.
There's the email here in capital.
So that's where you see the public defender, state's attorney equipment, time clock plus, data pilot, watch guard. Telephone. You already talked to Rhett about the 40,000.
Why we
The
still
new
have,
accounting server is a holdover from a prior year. So are you happy with that list? Anything come to light since you looked at this last?
I think I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything that you add to it would, just go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm way off here, but I was looking at this contingency a while ago, that email came in, and I see state's attorney law clerk.
Mm-hmm.
7-Elevens, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
There's no mention of the other two that you wanted, so, because those are granted to this.
If the grant comes in.
So I guess she gets 2 7-Elevens, not the other two, which is fine.
She gets 2 7-Elevens.
And not the other two.
And if the grants come in.
If the grants come in, she gets the other 2. Because it'd be grant paid.
Oh, I didn't think they were grant paid. I thought the grants full. No, we had 3 grants, right?
They're writing new, she's talking about writing new grants to be able to have employees. That's the whole thing. That basically it wouldn't cost any money from the general fund. But they grants for those
Right.
support staff positions.
So
Supposedly there's
Okay.
grants available possibly.
Okay. I was reading, okay. Yeah.
Which you could reduce those lines to 0 and it would just go in your unallocated.
Right.
Okay, in capital improvements, we've got
Mm-hmm.
quad cars of 4.
Mm-hmm.
That we want to hold the line on that and then use ARPA for the rest that we can get. What do you think? 6 more? That we're talking here today?
I would think it, however many. we
10
can
total?
now let's keep in mind, I think if we figured 10, it's gonna be about $650,000.
So that would be just.
But keep in mind, we still have that we were talking about using some of that money for election equipment. With the maintenance department.
And if we can't buy the 23, we can still spend it on 24.
252,800
So maybe.
before.
Yeah.
So what do you give them an answer? So what do you want to shoot for? 8? 10? 10?
Let's 10 total.
And we can do 10.
252,8 is
So
4.
four out of here.
So we'll do roughly 6.
6
If
more.
we're out of million, what, just under
6.
6?
So
We'll go on 10. All right. I agree.
shoot for 10.
Go, buddy, there's something bad shape, I'm telling you.
Well,
And that
like
would
I
give us-
said, Brent, if we can't get them in 23, we might get them in 24.
And
But we got to get him, I'm like you, I don't want to take it out of the county,
No,
but I don't know we have a choice. If you talk to Danny and see. Okay.
Yeah.
All that goes around. All right, so.
The 252.8 is a base price of 63,200 apiece. Is that enough?
and that, well, I think they're,
yeah, you said 68?
63,200.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that'd be good.
Okay. And now I think the other thing that this budget plan does, and this is if you go ahead and make your SLEP payment that you had budgeted this year, the 250 payment on the SLEP loan.
Yeah.
Then the IMRF fund is budgeting for 23, which you could do it December 1st if you wanted to, the remainder of that $900,000 loan payoff.
Yeah.
But you just have to trigger the claims. You just have to go through the claims process. Okay.
So we
Okay.
yeah,
on December 1st.
Well, you'll need to do one before November 30, the 250.
Right, the 250, and then after that, we need to pay off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Okay.
I have no idea. Is that one Julie does?
Who triggers that off? Is it Julie?
It can be Julie or Stephanie. The board is going to have to sign it.
Okay.
So it really doesn't matter who prepares it. Doesn't matter to me anyway. Okay, and let's see where we're at. The other change on the TIF project won't really impact. Oh, okay, that's not bad. Okay, so on the TIF project, the question that Brent had was the effective date of the TIF 1 rollout, 22-23 versus 23-24. What you had done with the entire TIF rollout, plus the amount, any new revenue from the casino, you had put down in a line item for the road project, for a payment on the road project. So I think for simplicity purposes, we can reduce the estimated levy amount for the TIF 1 rollout and reduce the project expense line for the road payment, principal and interest. And that was the whole point of it, was if something goes a little haywire, then it's all isolated. It's not really impacted anybody.
On the revenue for the casino, because there's not 90-day window, we receive it. We put a zero on that, didn't we?
We put zero for next year.
Okay.
No, you put $500,000.
Oh, we did. We talked about zero, then we went to half. Yeah,
Right.
just to have something. Okay.
Just to have.
That's right.
Yeah.
I remember it's much.
Yeah.
No, it was.
Right.
And I already verified,
It takes 90 days to get collection, so.
I already verified with, First Southern that they'll renew the loan, and I've got to fall apart.
For next year.
Yeah, which I'm, in that line item to carry the loan for another year.
Yeah, I know you find it's hard to believe. I was talking about a weekend again. It's amazing. And I believe it will, it's just better than going through the process.
You know, I told First Southern to expect us to carry the loan for another full year. So,
Well,
I mean,
the way they operate
to
up
give us-
there.
To give us at least, close to 12
But
months.
I didn't care if we got it this year or next year, what? Oh, we get
Casino
money.
revenues.
Yeah.
To be able to start trying to figure out what the bonds of.
At least we're talking about, he said, that's a
But,
good
yeah.
process.
Right. And so that full $500,000, you also put on the road project, knowing, okay, if that doesn't materialize, then you're in control of that road payment line item. If you need to, if you can't pay that full amount, then Ashley's making those arrangements with the bank, but you're in control of what goes out of that line item. So let's do the example of $1 million comes in. Well, you can also put $1 million through that road payment. You can also increase that. We probably have to do a quick amended budget for you, but you can direct any extra proceeds coming in to go to that road payment. Okay. So now the amount to decrease, I'm thinking about 800,000. Is that agreeable?
So, yeah.
Okay. Okay, and so I'm going to run through the departments one more time real quick to make sure the change that we've got with everything you've done today is about an additional $7,026 in expenses, which I'm assuming you'd want off a contingency, right?
Yep.
Okay, so other than the, let's see, no, we didn't have any changes in the county clerk's office. Okay, we took care of the dollar issue in the treasurer's office.
Around up there.
No.
We rounded up. Okay. Okay, we've gone through, I think, all the sheriff's department changes. We took care of the dollar issue in the circuit clerk. Now, I didn't have any changes from the conversation on the state's attorney's office. Is that correct?
I think so. I think we're good on that.
Okay. The circuit court went to the original budget request, right?
Yes.
Okay, the public defender had some questions, but you had no changes. Okay, nothing on the supervisor assessments, nothing on animal control, EMA, the telephone and the equipment. And then we moved the human resource lines. To you. Okay. And so then that will lower, basically lower the contingency a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay, let me see if there was anything else. No. Did you guys have anything else? Anything else you want to change, look at, revisit?
So.
I can't think. What's that?
Well, and I think it's important to mention on the contingency. Contingency expense belongs to the county board. So you do have your planning here. The final decision on what actually happens out of contingency does rest with the board. So I think sometimes in, showing people this, the board does have the right of, the right to change its mind if something else, a better plan comes up. So that's, I think, the hesitation or maybe the qualifying statement I would give you is it's not necessarily a guarantee of something that's going to happen, but this is a tentative plan that the board can change if it wants to. Okay.
We have a meeting tomorrow. Thursday. Fine.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think. We can.
So are you comfortable with preparation of your final documents? Do you feel like you're in a good place for that?
I am, I think.
Yeah, I'm okay.
I think still. Transfer. That, yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think we got enough cushion built in.
I think we're good there.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm good. You good?
I'm good.
You good?
Yep.
We're good.
Okay, well, based on that, I will get your final documents together.
This is our final budget number. Total budget.
20,721,038.
I remember they was 10 and 12, really.
It's grown a little bit.
All right,
That damn dollar has to keep us over time.
it's that dollar.
All right, if we're done, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Yeah.
Well,
He's
while
got,
we're here, I do want to talk about
Oh,
this. Yeah.
so you can put this
So,
motion.
other than the budget, Kim, we're good. Okay?
Is that my cue to exit?
Well, that's, yeah, so this is going to be on border review stuff.
Okay,
So,
all right. I will get your final documents prepped.
okay, thanks, Kim.
Okay, bye-bye.
I'm still gonna have. I'll just-
No, I'm not happy at all.
What do you want?
Well, I just think I should be happy with Alex's. I just think we're good.
That's without the appraisal, right?
But he did comparables.
We can call Alex in here.
We did comparables.
We probably need to call Alex in.
Well, then, yeah,
So
let's call him in.
Here,
let me go get him.
So the answers. But based on the comparables, I think it lines up. Well, based on what you showed me that day.
Not the ones that I saw.
I'm like
Of course,
2/3.
Some of them are newer, some of them are.
Yeah, but.
Oh,
It's a brand new store out there.
I want to talk to you. She's right here.
Hey, Alex, what's going on you? Alex,
Dropping my claims off.
I was dropping, forget my phone call. Let's ignore it.
You called?
I did.
Policy.
Yes.
This, we could, you know what, we can go out of this because now we're in border review, so maybe, you know, we don't have to be on Zoom or
Yeah.
anything.
So you made a motion, you second.
Second.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Brent Gentry.
Yeah.
And
Who bet you?